Hello, everyone, and welcome. We are here talking about Lab Week 2023. As you can see, it is from April 23rd to 29th this year. And we have some really great opportunities for students, as well as medical laboratory professionals, to celebrate the week and to also network and prepare to land the job of their choice. So even though this is really geared towards students, current laboratory professionals can absolutely take advantage of the wonderful advice that you're going to get with the two videos that we are releasing that week with my special guest, Taiwana Wilson, and we will learn about her in just a few minutes. But um, we're going to also be having some physical activity challenges. That'll be wonderful to keep everybody fit during this wonderful time. And we're going to be giving a nod to our wonderful associations, the ASCP and ASCLS. So, ASCP this year, the theme is Saved by the Lab. So if you're not old enough to know what Saved by the Bell is, it was a show about high school where students were just making it through until the bell rang at the end of the day and your life was saved at least for another like 18 hours before you had to get back into school. So it's a nod to that. And you can always look it up on YouTube and see some clips and everything. ASCLS is also doing their annual 5K. It's a virtual 5K. It's the eighth one that has happened so far. It's got an amazing medal that goes with it if you get the race pack. And it's a celebration of health because we are also part of health, right? And we talk about virtual, we're talking about you do it at your own pace. You keep track of it on your own. And even if you didn't complete it, no one would ever know unless you tell them. But it's a great opportunity for people to get together, go outside, have a walk. A 5K is 3.2 miles. So you can run it, you can skip it, like skipping. You could walk it, you could bike it, you could kayak it. I've done all those. So, except for skipping, I didn't do the whole thing skipping. But it's a really great opportunity to get out there. But so this year for Medical Lab Lady Gill, we are supporting obviously both of those societies, as well as doing a new challenge, a new physical challenge. It's called the Lab Week 2023 Plank Challenge. So if you see that here, um, we will talk about that shortly, but we're going to have a physical activity as well as our networking activity and the videos that we're releasing this year. So we're going to have a great time. We are going to be giving out Medical Lab Lady Gill Lab Week 2023 swag that you can see down here. So we've got this amazing hoodie. I meant to wear it for this video, but you'll see it at another time. But it's got all the little things that we're going to be doing. Um, so I say little only because it's little on the screen. We've got the ASCLS race. We've got the Lab Week 2023 Plank Challenge, and we've got the networking. So let's talk about that really quickly. We are really going to be focusing on professional social media this week and this year. And we're going to teach students how to create a resume that will wow future employers and to pair that with a cover letter that really says who that person is and why the employer should hire them. We're also going to be focusing on how do you make a online presence through professional social media channels. And one of those is something that hopefully you've already started doing anyway, because last year we did this as well. It's the Twitter takeover. So when we talk about Twitter and social media in general, when you have an at sign with the name of something behind it, that is the handle of the person's account. And in order for them to see your post or something you're sharing, if you tag them using that, they will then see it because it will automatically link to their account. However, if you don't do that, that person doesn't see it. So please make sure that when you are using the social media accounts like we're going to talk about during the week, that you use the appropriate handle, know how to tag someone, and also know how to use a hashtag. So a hashtag is a way to search for something. It's basically having that post as part of a collection of posts and comments and content that's available on the internet that is about this one topic. So any posts and shares that you're doing of anything on any of the social media accounts, please make sure that you're including myself. So on Twitter, it's at Medical Lab Lady G, but on Facebook, it's at Medical Lab Lady Gill. So please make that distinction. In most areas, you've got at ASCLS and at ASCP. On Twitter, it's ASCP underscore Chicago. Um, and on Facebook, I think it's just ASCP. But in all of them, make sure that you're attaching that hashtag Lab Week 2023. And obviously tag me too, so that way I can spread what you're doing. So the first thing that we want to talk about is the Twitter takeover. So last year we did this and it was a really great success. What you need to first do is create a free Twitter account, but as you'll see in the videos that will be released during Lab Week, you want to keep in mind of the professional and online presence that you will be creating when you do make any of these social media accounts. So as you see down here, if you're going to create a brand and it's got an account name that has any vulgar, demeaning, unprofessional or hateful language, then I'm not going to support that. You can absolutely make one, but Medical Lab Lady Gill will not be including you in the different shares and networking events that will be happening. So please make sure you know that. So even if you're like using an account that you've created and maybe the name is fine, but the profile picture is you in a bathing suit or inappropriately dressed, again, I will not be sharing that because that's unprofessional. So what we're trying to get you to do is use social media in a way that will influence or really expand your circle of influence. Okay, so the idea is that whatever courses you're in this semester, you can take a subject matter that is something that you would like to really focus on and learn more about, and create a tutorial about that item or that topic. So it could be any of these places in the laboratory, the blood bank, chemistry, cytology, coagulation, hematology, micro. It could be any of those. I know that's not all of them, but you get the idea. So what is a tutorial? Well, it is the use of Twitter posts in order to convey an educational tutorial, but we call it a tweetorial because it's out of tweets. So obviously, make your online Twitter account. It's free, and you will basically decide what is it that you want to talk about. So I gave in last year's lab week introduction video of what we were going to do that week. I gave you an example about how um, I did a video on what RH is and the fetal maternal hemorrhage screen and all of that. And it was because I want people to know that RH is a blood group system and not just one antigen. And what all of that means. And when we say something, what does that mean? So if you have a particular pet peeve or specific topic that you want to learn more about, pick that and you create an original tweet that obviously, like I said, has me tagged in it. And since it's Twitter, it's just Medical Lab Lady G. And you're going to have hashtag MedLabChat and hashtag Lab Week 2023. So Twitter keeps you very concise. So the idea here is that you will pose some information in that original tweet, and then you will be educating the viewer, the audience, through subsequent tweets. So within those subsequent tweets, they will be within the comment section of the first tweet. So the first tweet will grab people and make them really want to look at what you've got going on in the rest of that thread. Okay, so the thread is just a list of comments, and those are the corresponding tweetorial um, that you're creating. And people may comment on it too, but we want to have them in a thread because if you do them in separate tweets, then it's all over the place and we can't make the connection because hopefully there's going to be a lot of you and tweets go by, like a bird in the sky. They're very quick. Things live on the internet very shortly. So we're going to try to connect to the dots, make sure that we have all of your content together so we can share it. Okay, so the idea is that you will be conveying a message you want to teach people. You'll have 3 polling questions that last at least 3 days each. So when you're making the poll, there is an option to have it a certain length of time. Please don't forget to put that in there. You can do it for at least 3 days, but you could do it for 7. That's great too. Um, when you do the polls, you also want to make sure that you have more than 2 um, answers that are the options. That way, it's not like a 50-50 chance that somebody gets it. Because what you want to do is make sure that you're really conveying the correct information to people and you want to engage that audience. So if it's a 50-50 chance that they get it right, um, that when you look back at how well people did, it may not be the teaching level that you provided. It might have just been they lucked out. So try to do 2 or more answers, but three or 4 is really a great idea. And if you are making those questions, a great idea would be to have what's called distractors. So those are the answer choices. Make those to be like maybe typical things that people might think that are incorrect. They're not the right answer, but maybe it's a common misconception, or maybe it was a common misconception that you had every time you heard the topic before you started really researching it. So this is really about learning and networking. Okay. In order for you to be able to actively and accurately teach someone else, you have to learn it really well yourself. So this is a great way to force you to study something that maybe you might not have wanted to dive in deeper before, or maybe you did and you just didn't have the time. So once you put those polls up, you provide those answers, and you let it run for those days, people will start engaging because the goal is I will be sharing your tweets and hopefully be tagging more people to engage them in with you. So the fun thing about this is it's kind of like the Saved by the Bell kind of deal, Saved by the Lab here. So it's as if you all are freshmen, in the profession and I'm introducing you to the seniors. So I guess just to follow the theme there. So I'm going to be introducing you to other laboratory professionals that are already out there. If you ever want to have a mentor, absolutely go to the ASCP website and search for the the mentor request. You can also do that here. So on my QR code right here, there is a mentorship request button that you can press, and you can go, and it doesn't have to be me if you don't want it to be me. There are a lot of great medical laboratory professionals out there waiting to be your mentor. So please be saved by the lab and go and request a mentor as well to help continue on with what you started in Lab Week. Okay, so once your poll is up, it's really good to go back and respond about the why the right answers are the right answer. Okay, so obviously there's one right answer for the question, but you're going to have three polling questions. So you want to go back and make sure to respond to that poll. So it's not going to tell you who picked what answer. It's just going to say, here's how many people picked each of the answers. And then it's going to also show you what was the most common answer or the most popular answer. And it may not actually be the right one. So the one that's highlighted is, I believe it's the most common answer. I could be wrong now that I'm thinking about it. It might have the right answer being highlighted, but it is anonymous. So anybody who is responding will not, nobody will see what their answer was. So if they don't really know and they mess up, that's fine. So go back and add information about what the correct answers are and why. And a great idea to do, or a great practice to do with this, is to include links to information that help somebody um, expand on the information that they just learned in your tweet, or maybe they misinterpreted in your tweet. Give them links to further information. So that could be websites, that could be YouTube videos, just educational websites. Make sure they're accurate, obviously, to provide further information on that topic. And then if you use any type of pictures or case studies or anything like that, make sure they're HIPAA compliant, please. We don't want this to be a legal situation. This needs to be fun. This is Lab Week. Um, so before we move on, like I said, this QR code has my handles and everything, but I also have them here in case you were wondering. It also has podcasts I've been on and articles that have covered the YouTube channel and that sort of thing. Make sure you come back to the channel and continue to look at all the great events that we're doing, because in the fall, we do the Cell Bowl, and you're not going to want to miss it. So this is the hoodie that you may possibly win. So if you're engaging a lot of people and doing a really great job on Twitter, you may be selected to get and receive a Lab Week hoodie or sticker. So that would be in a scenario where I would comment on your post and I'd say, okay, look at your private messages, because I'll be private messaging you and try to get your information to send you the item. You don't have to accept it if you don't want to. If you don't feel comfortable putting your address in there, or the address of a place like your work or institution, educational institution that can give it, that you can receive that gift at, then don't worry about it. You can say no, thank you, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. But if you do accept it, and when you receive these, absolutely post on social media about, look, I got my prize. That would be wonderful. All right, so the plank challenge that we're going to do, this is the title of it, Lab Week 2023 Plank Challenge. I think it will allow me to have all of those characters in the name. So this is using the Stealth Fitness plank board that you see here. So what is this? Well, if you go on here, you have to buy it. So it is a purchase. You might not end up having enough money maybe to buy it. That's fine. But if you do and you want to join, it is a great core workout. They have a free app that you can download on your phone. And what you do is you use this plank board, you put your phone on the plank board, and you play a game while you're doing the planking position. Okay. And some of them are really hard. So during this time, all we're going to do is we're going to have a challenge out there that adds up the time and your score of you being on there. So it's not just being in the plank position itself. When you play the game, you have to, do certain activities in order to get points. So I will be setting that up shortly, but we'll be doing the plank challenge through the entire week. And then at the end of the week, we will give out a hoodie to the top two winners of the plank challenge. So, in order to purchase your plank board, go to trystealth.com. You can also get it from different other merchandise sites like Amazon. I think there's some on eBay also. So if you have Amazon Prime and you want to get it in like a couple of days because you put it off or whatnot, or you're like, hey, I finally have enough money to get it, absolutely go there and get it. So you have different options on how to do this. So there is a sign up. So please go ahead and you can click on that. It'll take you to a Google form. So please make sure you're in your Google account to fill out that form. But you're signing up through that because even though we know this is a lab week challenge, other people will get into that challenge because that's what you do when you're part of the stealth community. I'm part of the stealth community and I jump in other people's challenges all the time. So in order for us to know who exactly is really taking part and part of our Medical Lab Lady Guild community, make sure to sign up. And in that sign up, it also asks you for things like what size do you need your hoodie to be? What color do you want it to be? So it's more than just signing up to say, hey, this is me. So it's going to ask you for for your name, that will be displayed on the in the challenge in the app. And then it's going to ask you your address and all the things I just said. All right, so the winners will be announced after Lab Week is over. All right, then we've got the Lab Week run. Please make sure you go to the ASCLS website to sign up for that. And it is completed during Lab Week. Again, if you do participate, please make sure to tag me, put Lab Week 2023, and make sure you put ASCLS in there. Okay, so that's on all social media channels, not just Twitter. So you can do it on Facebook, you can do it on Twitter, you can do it on LinkedIn, any of those. And those actually are the accounts that we're going to talk about in our lab week, one of our lab week videos. So the lab week videos that we're going to release during lab week include my special and amazing friend and guest, Taiwana Wilson. And she is a best-selling author and leadership coach. She's known as Coach T. Wilson, and she's going to help me give you tidbits and tricks and best practices for creating that beautiful resume you want to hand out to all your possible prospective employers, and then the cover letters that go along with them. So there's a lot of things that you might not actually think about when you're making these. So that's what we're going to discuss. Also, the main focus of the other video is going to be a professional LinkedIn account. However, we do talk about other accounts as well, including Twitter and Facebook. So please make sure to tune in for that. And they will be released at the beginning of Lab Week, but not both of them at the same time. So that's going to be April 23rd and April 24th. So um, just a little bit about Taiwana. She is a leadership mentor, medical laboratory scientist, speaker, best-selling author, podcast host, and I've been on her podcast before with the other ladies of Elaborate Topics podcast. She's also a career coach who trains medical laboratory and healthcare professionals to grow their leadership so that they stand out and get promoted and make more money, which everybody wants, right? Her passion is for training others to, succeed and achieve those goals. So her passion started in 2017. That's actually when Medical Lab Lady Gill was born. So that's fun that we started this professional identity out on the internet at the same time. So that's exciting. So she started in 2017, and because she got tired of seeing really good people get passed over for supervisory positions and roles because they didn't have a strong leadership base. So that was her springboard. She's solving a problem. She's going out there and trying to make a change, be the change you want to see in the world, right? Just like what I'm doing with Medical Lab Lady Gill. I didn't see a lot of laboratory educational videos online, and it was honestly to improve the the ability of my students to see demonstrations. So again, solving a problem, moving forward and trying to help others. So she she knew she had to do something. So she used her nearly 20 years of diverse leadership experience to help others develop the essential skills and competencies to be successful. She's always ready to inspire, educate, engage, and she is known for her ability to take complex ideas and make them easy to understand, practical tidbits for the clients and organizations that she serves. She's the president of Trendy Elite Coaching and Consulting, which develops best in class leaders through its Standout Leadership Academy, coaching and leadership training programs. And she also serves as the system chemistry director at CompuNet Clinical Laboratories in Dayton, Ohio. So we're both East Coast girls. She graduated from Kentucky State and Indiana Wesleyan universities. She received her bachelor's of science in clinical laboratory science and MBA, respectively. She's an author, by the way, of several books, actually, more than what is listed here and what you'll see in a minute. But she's the author of the book, Some Leaders Wear Lab Coats. Love the cover too. It's amazing. And host of Leadership Tidbits with Coach T. Wilson and Elaborate Topics podcast. Her mission is to empower and train 1 million leaders to be able to lead with confidence and have a career that makes them proud. I don't know what number she's at, but 1 million, that's amazing and really incredible. So I hope she achieves that. So here we are. These are just some things you might have seen on the internet with Ms. Coach T. Wilson. So she's been featured in Fox, CBS, and NBC for her Standout Leadership Academy. And she has, these are just a little snippet of the books that she has out. There are way more than just that, including some anthologies with some other collaborators. And then she is one of the co-hosts of Elaborate Topics podcast, which you all have seen her already and met her already, looking at the winners of the both seasons of the Cell Bowl. Her and her team, her partners, including my really good friend Stephanie Whitehead, who has also been on other Cell Bowl episodes, and she's part of the Cell Bowl work group to help, get it out there to you all. Oh my goodness, I forgot what I was saying. Oh, you've seen her, all of them together, and they were focusing on the winners of those two seasons. So each year, the champions of the Cell Bowl are featured on their podcast, just as they're featured live on the Medical Lab Lady Gill YouTube channel. And here is her podcast leadership tidbits with Coach T. Wilson. And that is it for this video. So please make sure to like, subscribe, and set your settings to make sure you don't miss any of the fun with Lab Week or any other time throughout the year, like in October and November with the Cell Bowl each year. So, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and to also share on social media, post on social media, all the fun that you're having, any winnings that you get while you're out there, even doing your virtual run or walk or skip, whatever you want to do. Um, or maybe even some behind the scenes footage of any of the labs out there that have been part of the ASCP video contest. So all of that would be great. We're just very happy to celebrate Lab Week with you. So we'll see you in Lab Week, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.